Welcome back to Talk About It in English. Today, we are going to build a survival script for the most stressful 10 minutes of any vacation. You just dragged your heavy bags into your rental apartment. It is 35 degrees outside. You press the button on the air conditioning remote and nothing happens. You press it again and it is completely dead. But the real dread hits you when you realize you have to message the host to complain, and you are terrified of sounding rude and ruining your guest rating.
I literally spent an hour once staring at my phone on a trip to Rome, trying to rewrite the phrase, "The AC is broken, please fix it," because my translation app made me sound so aggressive and demanding.
By the end of this episode, you will have a 3-step complaint sandwich to get any problem fixed fast, while keeping the host friendly and helpful. Let's practice.
That feeling of panic when you walk into a vacation rental and something is wrong is so universal. You are exhausted from traveling, you're sweating, you just want to take a shower and relax. And instead, you're faced with a social conflict in a second language. It is the absolute worst.
It really is, and the reason it is so stressful for A2 and B1 English learners is because the way we travel has completely changed over the last 10 years. We used to stay in traditional hotels. If the air conditioning in a hotel is broken, you walk down to the front desk, you speak to an employee in a uniform, and you say, "My room is too hot, the air conditioning does not work." You are a customer talking to a business, and direct language is usually fine in that environment.
Exactly. But now, most of us stay in vacation rentals. We use apps to rent apartments from regular people. It's a peer-to-peer relationship. You're staying in someone's actual home, or at least a property they personally manage. And more importantly, both of you are going to review each other at the end of the stay.
That mutual review system changes everything about the English you need to use. If you use a direct translation from your native language, you might type something like, "The air conditioning is broken, you need to fix it." Grammatically, that sentence is perfect, the vocabulary is completely correct, but culturally, in English, it sounds like an attack.
It sounds like you are accusing them of being a terrible host. I remember when I had that issue in Rome, the Wi-Fi was completely dead. I typed out, "The internet does not work. Fix it immediately." Then I stared at the screen and thought, if I send this host is going to hate me. They're going to give me a 1-star guest review. They might take hours to reply just to punish me, and the whole vibe of my vacation will be ruined. I felt completely paralyzed because I did not have the vocabulary for polite negotiation.
That paralysis is exactly what we're going to cure today. Native English speakers use a very specific psychological framework when they need to complain to someone who is basically a peer. We call it the polite complaint sandwich.
I love a good sandwich. What are the ingredients?
A sandwich has 3 parts. You have the top piece of bread, the meat in the middle, and the bottom piece of bread. In our English communication sandwich, the top piece of bread is the soft landing, which is usually a compliment. The meat in the middle is the apologetic problem, and the bottom piece of bread is the collaborative ask. When you put these 3 pieces together, you can complain about literally anything, and the host will actually rush to help you with a smile.
This sounds like a superpower. Let us break down the first step, the top piece of bread.
Step 1 is the soft landing. When you have a problem, your instinct is to immediately talk about the problem. You want to pick up your phone, hold down the voice note button, and say, "Hi, David, the air conditioning is broken." We must never do this. We never start with the negative. We always start by confirming we arrived safely and giving a compliment about the apartment.
This feels so counterintuitive. When I'm sweating and frustrated, the last thing I want to do is compliment the curtains.
I know it feels like acting, and honestly, it is acting, but it's necessary acting. By starting with a compliment, you signal to the host that you are a reasonable, friendly person. You disarm their natural defensiveness. The phrase we're going to use is, "Hi, we just checked in, the place looks great, but..."
The place looks great, but that little word "but" is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
It really is. It creates a bridge between the positive energy and the reality of the situation. Let's focus on how to say this naturally because your intonation is just as important as the words. When you say, "The place looks great," your voice needs to go up in pitch on the word great, and then you pause for just a microsecond before you say, "but." Listen to the melody. The place looks great, but.
The place looks great, but I can hear how that upward pitch on great makes it sound genuine. If I say it with a flat, robotic tone, it sounds sarcastic. The place looks great, but that sounds like I'm about to start a fight.
Exactly. The melody carries the emotional meaning. Let us do a shadowing drill right now. I want you to imagine you are holding your phone to your mouth. You are recording a voice note for your host. Stand up straight, take a breath, and try to smile slightly while you speak, because a smile actually changes the shape of your mouth and brightens the sound of your English. I will say the phrase, and then I want you to repeat it with the exact same melody. "Hi, David. We just checked in. The place looks great, but."
Hi, David. We just checked in. The place looks great, but that feels incredibly natural. It does not feel like I am preparing for a conflict at all. I feel like a friendly guest touching base.
And that is exactly how the host will hear it. They will listen to the first 3 seconds of your voice note, they will hear your friendly tone, they will feel relieved that you arrived safely, and their guard will drop. They are now emotionally prepared to help you. That brings us to step 2, the meat of the sandwich. This is where we actually report the problem.
This is the scary part. How do I tell them the air conditioning is dead without ruining that nice, friendly vibe we just created?
We use a cultural strategy called the apologetic problem. In British and American culture, there is a strange habit of apologizing when you are the one suffering the inconvenience. You are not apologizing because it is your fault. You are apologizing to soften the blow of the bad news. We do not say, "The air conditioning is broken." Instead, we use a specific phrase. "I'm afraid there's an issue with the AC."
I'm afraid there's an issue with the AC. This is a brilliant phrase, but I know it confuses a lot of learners. Whenever I hear the word afraid, I think of horror movies. I'm afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of ghosts. Why are we talking about fear when we're looking at an air conditioner?
That is such a common point of confusion. In everyday spoken English, especially in polite requests or bad news, the phrase "I'm afraid" has nothing to do with fear. It's simply a polite replacement for the word "unfortunately." If a waiter says, "I'm afraid we're out of the chocolate cake," he is not terrified of the cake. He's just saying, "Unfortunately, we don't have it."
That makes perfect sense. It acts as a verbal cushion. You're telling the host, I don't want to bring you bad news, but unfortunately, here it is. I'm afraid there's an issue with the AC. Let's look at the second half of that phrase. There's an issue with. Why don't we just say, is broken?
Because broken is a harsh, final word. It implies that a major repair is needed, which causes the host immediate stress. The word issue is wonderfully vague. An issue could be a tiny glitch, it could be a dead battery in the remote control, or it could be a major mechanical failure. By calling it an issue, you keep the problem feeling small and manageable.
I love that. You're managing their panic. If a guest tells me something is broken, my blood pressure spikes. If they tell me there's an issue, I just think, okay, let me look into it. It's a much softer impact.
Let us practice the pronunciation of this section because the linking here is critical for sounding natural and fluent. Look at the words "there's an issue with." In spoken English, we do not pronounce these as 5 separate, choppy words. They link together into one continuous stream of sound. The S in theirs connects to the A in an, and the N in an connects to the I in issue. It sounds like "there's an issue." There's an issue with.
There's an issue. That's tricky. Let me try it slower. There's an issue. There's an issue with the AC. Yes, when I link it together, it flows much better. It stops sounding like a translated textbook and starts sounding like real spoken English.
Perfect. Now let's build some flexibility. This phrase is a template. You can remove the AC and insert absolutely any problem you encounter on your travels. James, I'm going to give you a scenario, and I want you to shadow the phrase using the new problem. Imagine you go into the bathroom to take a shower, and the water is freezing cold. Apply the formula.
I'm afraid there's an issue with the hot water.
Exactly. Now imagine you're trying to let your family know you arrived, but you can't connect to the internet.
I'm afraid there's an issue with the Wi-Fi.
Good. What if you try to lock the apartment door from the inside, but the key simply won't turn in the mechanism?
I'm afraid there's an issue with the lock.
You see how powerful this one phrase is? You do not need to know the complex mechanical vocabulary for plumbing, routers, or door mechanisms. You just need to know how to identify the object and attach it to this polite, apologetic frame. I am afraid there is an issue with...
Before we look at the final step, if you're finding this strategy helpful for your speaking confidence, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a topic. We break down real-life situations like this every single week so you can stop studying grammar rules and start actually communicating.
Let us move on to the final part of our sandwich. We have given the compliment, we have delivered the bad news softly, now we need the bottom piece of bread, which is the collaborative ask.
This is where we tell them to fix it, right?
Not quite. If you say, please send someone to fix it, you are still giving a command. You are taking the position of a boss telling an employee what to do. In the peer-to-peer economy, we want to invite them to help us rather than demanding service. The absolute best way to do this is to pretend that you might be the one making the mistake.
Pretend that I am the problem? But I know I'm not the problem. The air conditioner is clearly broken. Why would I take the blame?
Because it is the ultimate face-saving strategy. If you suggest that you might just be confused by how the machine works, you give the host a very comfortable way to step in and save the day. The magic phrase we use for this is, could you let me know if there is a trick to it?
Could you let me know if there is a trick to it? That is fascinating. What exactly do we mean by a trick in this context? We're not talking about magic tricks, are we?
No, in everyday conversational English, a trick just means a hidden method or a specific, non-obvious way of making something work. For example, maybe you have to flip a hidden switch on the wall before the remote control works. Maybe you have to press and hold the power button for exactly 3 seconds. Every house has its own little quirks and tricks. By asking if there is a trick to it, you're humbly admitting that you are in a new environment and you might just need some local knowledge.
This makes so much sense. I once stayed in an apartment in Paris where the shower only produced hot water if you turned the knob all the way to the cold side first and then slowly brought it back to the middle. It was completely illogical. There was absolutely a trick to it. If I had just yelled at the host that the water was broken, I would have looked foolish when they showed me the weird knob sequence.
Exactly. Asking if there is a trick to it protects you from looking foolish, and it protects the host from feeling attacked. Let us look at the mechanics of speaking this phrase. Could you let me know if there is a trick to it? The hardest part for learners is the very end, trick to it. The K sound at the end of trick pushes directly into the T of to, and the to connects to the it with a tiny little W sound hidden in the middle. Trick to wit.
Trick to wit. Trick to it. Could you let me know if there's a trick to it? The rhythm of that feels very bouncy. It has a nice light energy to it, which, again, really helps to keep the situation feeling low stress.
Let us shadow the whole sentence. I'll break it into 2 halves. Could you let me know?
Could you let me know?
If there is a trick to it?
If there's a trick to it?
Now put it together with a rising question intonation at the very end. Could you let me know if there is a trick to it?
Could you let me know if there's a trick to it? This is such a great phrase, but what if there is no trick? What if the machine is just completely destroyed and smoking?
That's the beauty of this phrase. Even if the machine is completely broken, the host will simply reply, "Oh, I'm so sorry, there is no trick. It must be broken. I will send a repair person immediately." You still get the exact result you wanted, which is getting it fixed, but you achieved it through a warm, collaborative conversation instead of an argument.
It's a win-win situation. The problem gets solved, and my guest rating stays at 5 stars. Let's put the entire sandwich together so our listeners can practice the full routine. I want to feel how this flows from beginning to end.
Absolutely. We're going to build our voice note simulator right now. I want you to imagine you're holding your phone, you have the Airbnb or WhatsApp chat open with your host, their name is Sarah, you're going to press and hold the microphone button, and you have about 15 seconds to deliver the entire message clearly and calmly. I'll read the full script first so you can hear the natural pacing.
I'm ready. I'm listening for the compliment, the apologetic problem, and the collaborative ask.
Hi, Sarah. We just checked in. The place looks great, but I am afraid there is an issue with the AC. It seems like it isn't turning on. Could you let me know if there's a trick to it? Thanks so much.
That was incredibly smooth. It sounded so reasonable, I almost want to be the host receiving that message.
Now it is your turn, and the turn of everyone listening. We're going to do a slow read-through together. Speak aloud wherever you are, even if you are on a walk or sitting on the bus. Just whisper the words to yourself. The physical movement of your tongue and jaw is how you build true speaking confidence. Let us begin. Hi, Sarah. We just checked in.
Hi, Sarah. We just checked in.
The place looks great, but
The place looks great, but
I am afraid there is an issue with the AC.
I am afraid there is an issue with the AC.
It seems like it isn't turning on.
It seems like it isn't turning on.
Could you let me know if there is a trick to it?
Could you let me know if there is a trick to it?
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Fantastic. Now, let us elevate the challenge. We're going to do a real-time role play under a bit of pressure. I want to simulate what happens after you send this message. Often, the host will reply quickly, or they might even call you back. James, you are the guest. You're going to deliver the full 15-second script seamlessly. I'm going to play the role of the host, Sarah. I will listen, and then I will give you a common, natural response. Are you ready to press record?
I have my phone in my hand. I am ready. Here we go. Hi, Sarah. We just checked in. The place looks great, but I am afraid there is an issue with the AC. It seems like it isn't turning on. Could you let me know if there is a trick to it? Thanks so much.
Oh, hi, James. I'm so glad you arrived safely. I'm really sorry about the AC. Actually, yes, there is a trick to it. You have to point the remote directly at the little red light on the bottom right corner of the machine and hold the button for 5 seconds. Give that a try and let me know if it works.
That was such a pleasant interaction. If I had just said, fix the AC, Sarah probably would have sighed, felt annoyed, and texted back a very cold instruction. Instead, she was warm and helpful.
Let us do one more role-play scenario, because sometimes there is no trick and the item really is broken. You need to know how to handle the follow-up when the host tells you they need to send someone over. James, deliver the exact same script again. Lean into the friendly tone.
Hi, Sarah. We just checked in. The place looks great, but I am afraid there is an issue with the Wi-Fi this time. It seems like the router is not turning on. Could you let me know if there is a trick to it? Thanks so much.
Oh, hi, James. Thank you for letting me know. I'm so sorry, there is no trick. The previous guest actually mentioned it was acting strange yesterday. I'm going to have to call the internet company to reset the connection. It might take about an hour. Is it okay if I message you when it's back online?
Notice how we naturally handled that? I would simply reply, no problem at all. Thank you for sorting it out. And the crisis is averted.
This entire strategy is about managing human relationships using English. So many language learners focus only on the vocabulary of the objects. They study lists of words for appliances like refrigerator, microwave, router, and thermostat. But knowing the word for thermostat does not help you if you do not know how to interact with the human being who owns it.
That is the core difference between textbook English and real-world survival English. Textbooks teach you how to point at an object and name it. Real life requires you to negotiate, to be polite, to express mild frustration without causing offense, and to collaborate on a solution. The polite complaint sandwich does all of that for you.
I want to encourage everyone listening to take this framework and apply it to other areas of your life, not just travel. This exact same sandwich works brilliantly in an office environment. If you need to tell your coworker that the printer is jammed, you don't march up to their desk and say, "The printer is broken." You use the sandwich. You start with a soft landing, maybe asking how their morning is going. Then you use the apologetic problem. "I'm afraid there is an issue with the printer." Then the collaborative ask. "Could you let me know if there is a trick to clearing the paper jam?"
It really is a universal tool for polite society. It softens your image, it builds your reputation as a reasonable person, and most importantly, it gets you the result you want much faster than being demanding. People want to help nice people.
Next time you're on the train heading to a new accommodation, shadow this 15-second voice note twice so the words are already in your mouth just in case you need them.
You have got this, and you never have to fear the broken air conditioner again.
See you in the next episode.